Controversy surrounding the emergence of Senator Bukola Saraki as the new Senate President is far from being over, as Senator Ahmed-led faction of All Progressive Senator goes to court to challenge the emergence of Bukola Saraki as Senate President. Leader of Ahmed Lawal Group, Senator Barnabas Gemade, at a press conference in Abuja, said the process of the election was unconstitutional. Similarly, spokesman of Bukola Saraki Group, Senator Dino Melai, said the emergence of Saraki as Senate President was in line with the Constitution and Senate rule. Meanwhile, 28 Senator-elect who could not make it to the Red Chamber yesterday took oath of office before the new Senate President. The Senate has adjourned plenary session to June 23. From National Assembly, Muyiwa Bamdele reporting.
Reactions have continued to trail the emergence of the leadership of both the Senate and House of Representatives in the National Assembly. Speaking to Ben Television in an exclusive interview in Abuja, Senator Igoyota Amori, representing Delta Central Senatorial District in the Senate, said that what happened is solely the decision of the lawmakers and not any external influence.
First, I believe that is democracy in action. And that showed that the Senate we are one, because the two major parties, the APC and the PDP, came together and decided on who they want to become the Senate President, who should be the Deputy Senate President, and they were elected purely based on their competence. From the assessment of the two characters that be elected, the two senators that be elected, they are not just they are not new senators. They are senators that have been tested.
Speaking on the fate of the PDP as a party, Senator Amori said, though things might look dicey for now, but the party will definitely bounce back.
The beginning, from the morning you can tell the day, what has happened so far, that the PDP played a major role in whoever that becomes the Senate President to become the Senate Deputy Senate President. And that shows that the PDP is one. Of course, we know we are one. Sometimes when they are driven to opposition, we become stronger. And I believe that today the people know where pains them, and from all indication, we are getting back our arts. And I believe that the PDP is going to be better for it. If we're not united, Saraki will not be president, and the deputy come from the PDP. And also that played that in the House of Rep, that the PDP stood their ground and took a decision on who they want. The APC per se don't have the clear majority to do that. And the PDP too don't have that advantage minority to elect their own. But the combination of the two can produce whatever they want to produce at any time. We now have a complete unification of the leadership of the APC and the PDP to drive this country to the next level.
While speaking on the independence of the 8th Assembly, Senator Amori and his kinsman in the House of Representatives, Barrister Lovett Idisi, representing Ito Federal Constituency, said that what played out during the election of the principal officers in both chambers shows that the 8th Assembly will not be a rubber stamp to the executive.
Very, very far from it. Of course, very, very far from it. You can see where the majority party, in their own choice of preference, they wanted somebody else to be, and the Senate said no, let us get to the floor of the House. In the floor of the House, we decide on who leads the Senate. And that was the decision we took yesterday. It's not based on the directive of APC or the directive of PDP. It's the directive according to the conscience of the senators on the floor of the House. There was no directive from anybody. Of course, once you are in that red chamber, of course, you think Nigeria.
There's going to be change in the House, From yesterday when we commenced the 8th Assembly, it's quite obvious that from the processes adopted, the transparency that was adopted to elect our Honorable Speaker, it is quite clear that there will be changes in the way and manner things were done in the 7th Assembly in this dispensation. So in summary, we look forward to passing bills that will cover all facets of different sectors of the country that will actually enhance the development and progress of our constituency, our community, our state, and Nigeria in general.
The change is not for the APC, it is for Nigeria. What it means that whatever that was bad before, of course, we should change for the better.
Subsequently, both chambers of the House has, however, adjourned plenary to 23rd of June to enable members prepare fully for the task ahead. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
A political analyst, Solomon Agoha, has praised Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari for not interfering on the National Assembly elections, which produced Senator Bukola Saraki as Senate President and Honorable Yakubu Dogara as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. In an exclusive chat with Ben Television in Abuja, Mr. Solomon said what the President exhibited was a sense of maturity and has shown that national interest should override personal interest.
That's democracy, because for somebody to have interest, it also goes a long way to bring so much question on their intent and purposes, especially for the fact that we now want to see changes, or the change that have been so much promised by the governing party, APC. So Mr. President didn't show interest, and immediately after the election he acknowledged that the constitutional principles were followed and that he was ready to work with the people that emerged, and he congratulated them. The fact that these people emerged the way they did has nothing to do with the actual democratic process that will benefit. We should look at a nationalistic perspective rather than personal perspective, because the president is for the nation.
He also advocated for a quick reform in the power, education, and petroleum sectors.
There are sectors of the economy. For now, we have the energy crisis. It's fuel scarcity, or the fuel crisis in Nigeria. And a lot of things in the economy is built on this petroleum resource, or petroleum resources. So he, having had experience in the petroleum sector in the past decades, should bring his wealth of experience to ensure that there will be the regulation of the petroleum sector. Persuade the National Assembly to pass the PIB, the Petroleum Industrial Bill, and that will ensure the regulation. Then the removal of subsidy and opening up of the sector to have competition and liberalization, because that's actually what's going to help the sector. If he does that, it's going to help a lot. It will help power, because privatization of power have been done, the power sector have been done, the distribution companies and the generation companies.
From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports. Newly inaugurated member representing Obia Federal Constituency of Edo State in the Federal House of Representatives, Omosede Imunedium, has pledged to represent the interests of women and children and also help in making laws that will protect the less privileged at the lower chamber of the National Assembly. She made the pledge when she talked to Ben Television in an exclusive interview while she was celebrating her swearing in into the Federal House of Representatives with family, friends, and loved ones.
My role would really be to try as much as possible to effectively legislate and be a voice that will be heard in the National Assembly and the 8th Assembly. My principal role in the National Assembly, I must say I'm a woman first of all, so I'm very gender sensitive, and I believe my primary assignment would be to ably represent the women of this country, as well as consider the children and our youths who have a great role to play in the future and development of our country, Nigeria.
Chief Gabriel Ibunedium, the father of the legislator, and Tom Kimi, a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, congratulated her and urged her to discharge her duties with utmost responsibilities, knowing that she is carrying the mandate of the people.
My lifetime, my daughter become a full-fledged member of House of Representatives. Well, years ago, my son was the governor of the state and also a local government chairman. I thank God for my life, for during my lifetime. They are doing their best, they are trying. It's God's own mercy upon this family. Owing it to all God Almighty. My prayer is for Nigeria that democracy should survive.
I wish her well, and I believe she would be successful the way that she has been able to contest this election successfully and get it inaugurated today.
From Abuja, LM Chukwemeka reports.
Contrary to rumors going on based on an allegation by one Mr. Aaron Casey that the chairman of the Police Service Commission, Sir Mike Okiro, embezzled and misappropriated the sum of 275 million naira from the coffers of the Police Service Commission meant for election monitoring, the chairman of the commission, Sir Mike Okiro, has come out to state clearly that it was just a case of blackmail and efforts to spoil his hard-earned name. Mike Okiro, who was speaking to newsmen in Abuja to give his own side of the story, said there is no iota of truth in the bogus claim, as Mr. Aaron Casey was only out to blackmail him and the commission to get money for his wedding.
It beats our imagination how Mr. Casey could contrive such mind-boggling figures as 275 million misappropriated for the coffers of the commission, with scant regards to the fact that facts are sacred, and such weighty allegations must demand empirical evidence and substantiation to be believed. The cause of Mr. Casey's grudge with the management of the commission stemmed from his redeployment from being the protocol officer attached to the chairman to the press unit. This development was first startly elicited by Mr. Casey, who later embarked upon excessive lobbying against the commission and commissioners and other top management staff of Police Service Commission to face the extension, but no avail.
Sir Okiro also gave a breakdown of how the election monitoring fund was disbursed in line with civil service rule and how much is remaining in the coffers of this commission.
We received a sum of 250 million naira for election monitoring, conferences, training of the staff for the PSC, and deployed them to the states to monitor the police conduct during the general elections of 2015. Because approval from BPP, that is Bureau of Public Procurement, came late, we were able to conduct only one-day training. The Police Commission staff were paid the allowances, DTA for the one-day training, and entitlements for the journey to the states for the monitoring. Total amount paid was 317,388,154 naira 0.010 kobo. The remainder, which is 132,311,845 naira 0.99 kobo, is still the Police Service Commission account.
The Police Service Commission boss said that Cassie, in a desperate move, connived with a journalist to blackmail him by demanding the sum of 10 million naira to be paid into a certain account, threatening that the failure to pay the money would lead to the publishing of the damaging story, which they eventually did because he, Okiro, refused to yield to blackmail as he is not guilty of any criminal act.
I find it appropriate to call this press conference to disabuse the minds of Nigerians and international community and highlight the lies being peddled by Mr. Aaron Cassie. Aaron Cassie was having misplaced grudges against the chairman of the commission. One, for deploying him from protocol where he was executing some shady deals, for failing to yield to blackmail and refusing to give money to him for his wedding, for allowing the police officer from the 7 to arrest him and remand him in prison custody in Kuje. Finally, for suspending him from duty.
Okiro added that the issue is being investigated by relevant law enforcement agencies in the country, and very soon the truth will come out to public glare. From Abuja, I am Festus Ejiroge Nefifen for Ben Television.
Saddled with the responsibility to transform the Nigeria's industrial sector by providing financial and business support services to enterprises, the Bank of Industry, BOI, and the Taraba State Government have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to the tune of 700 million naira. The Managing Director, BOI, Rashid Olalua, at the signing in Abuja, said the formalization of the MOU will ensure economic empowerment of the people of Taraba State, as well as boost the entrepreneurial spirit. BOI boss noted that already a loan of 299.4 million naira has been approved to 18 enterprises in the state.
The Memorandum of Understanding we are about to sign today will foster industrial development of Taraba State and promote inclusive growth through job and wealth creation. In May 2014, the state government contributed the sum of 350 million naira, which has been matched in like sum by BOI for the establishment of the 700 million naira Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Fund. This pool of funds shall be used to provide loans to MSMEs in Taraba State. I would like to state that BOI's partnership with Taraba State shall not be limited to financial intervention alone.
The Taraba State Governor, Architect Darius Ishaku, said the MOU will serve as a catalyst to the industrialization of the state. Architect Ishaku disclosed that the sum of 350 million naira has been released to BOI, being part of the state's contribution.
Sum of 350 million being the state's contribution has been released to the Bank of Industry in April 2014 by Taraba State Government. Having fulfilled our own part of the obligation of this counterpart fund, I want to urge the Bank of Industry to, as a matter of urgency, commence the process of disbursement of the loan to our people, as this loan is very important to me as the beginning of the capacity building of our people to reduce the unemployment and the poverty eradication. Taraba State is richly endowed with vast fertile land and other natural resources, yet majority of the people live in abject poverty due to the lack of entrepreneurship, business development knowledge, to be able to propel them to richness. It is my firm conviction that if these resources are properly harnessed, the state could be poised for a promising future. Therefore, the need for a program that is aimed at entrepreneurship, business development cannot be overlooked, but rather be given support not only to grow, but to be sustained.
It is hoped that The partnership will lay a foundation that will bring about the takeoff of the industrial development of the state by inculcating entrepreneurship culture among the people of the state. Osam Raffle, Ben Television, Abuja, Nigeria.